Hi, this is Jeff Mersacci, the Plain English attorney and the head of the law offices of Jeffrey G. Mersacci, PLLC. And this is a walkthrough of the Client Resource Center and all of the different features and benefits and information that we have up there. Now, the purpose of the Client Resource Center is twofold. First, it's when we're working with our initial clients and we're setting up their revocable trust, so it walks through the entire process and provides lots of different tools and resources to take a look more in depth than what you might necessarily get just when sitting down with the attorney and walking through things in your individual plan. This gives a lot of more general information and background and lets you look into things as much as you are comfortable with. Second thing is setting up a revocable living trust isn't really just a one-time thing. There's ongoing maintenance to make sure that your plan avoids probate and government interference as much as possible so that your estate gets handled privately the way you want. So this ongoing maintenance stuff is in the Client Resource Center. And on top of that, you're going to be getting, along with your subscription to the Client Resource Center, monthly live streams and exclusive offers and webinars that's not available to everybody else. And there are going to be other features and benefits associated with it that's going to depend strictly on your subscription. So let's go ahead and jump through and do a walkthrough of the course and exactly what you're getting. So with the Client Resource Center, you're starting your course. The first section is the course introduction, and this is just a quick welcome to the Resource Center, and then a really good overview going through the initial trust planning process. Now, this is something that we're typically doing in the office with our new clients, just as we're having that estate strategy session. And if we're going to proceed, we're going to run through, here's what the actual process is. So I do go into a lot more depth in the course than I do in person, just to save time. So the second big thing, and this is really important, it's the family practice philosophy. So we're going to introduce exactly what a digital family practice is, and it's something that a lot of wealthy families will take advantage of in person. And there's an actual family office that has a lot of different professionals related not just to estate planning, but tax planning and financial planning and insurance planning and other things. So this is a way now with current technology that we can bring these professionals together to all work on your plan in a coordinated fashion so that the different professionals with different backgrounds and experience and goals can really make the best recommendations possible to you based on everybody's input. Now, the second thing that we have here, and this is for initial people as well as for updating, who do you work with so that we can end up serving you better in this type of family practice philosophy. We have a quick kind of run through and survey that lets you put in the people that you currently work with, at least the most important professions that we found to work with the estate planner, so that we get this information, we have it in our system, and now we can contact these professionals to help coordinate things with your particular plan. All right, so the third thing, this is the trust course materials. Now, this looks like there's an awful lot of stuff here, but when you're coming on board, this might be something that you've already gotten through one of our other courses, but it's all kind of backed up here. But all the resources are going to be in this one place. So the first thing, which is kind of required, well, it was required reading. Now it's listening or viewing as well, whatever works for you. It's the Estate Planning Basics audiobook with text. There's also a digital download. This just gives you the kind of background information on, well, estate planning basics, so that when we're meeting initially, you're going to have the best productive estate strategy session possible, so that we're not answering questions about, well, what's the difference between a will and a trust, and what are the downsides of probate and all that other stuff. No, we're getting right to what's important to you and your goals. So all of this background information is in Estate Planning Basics, but that is just kind of the basics. So we've got the book there as well. Additional resources This will actually get you even more links and information if you want to go in depth. Now, the big four questions, this is something that we might have already answered if we've already had the estate strategy session, but this is again just a review of the big four questions related to estate planning that we ask our clients, and gives you more background on this if it's something that you do want to look into. Now, we also have webinars. So we have this Trust 101 webinar. Again, more general information, expanded just a little bit, but it's a broadcast that we put out for webinars on YouTube or just to clients, but just generally it's a good overview webinar. It's not going to replace estate planning basics, but it's a more brief version. We also put in, just to make sure you've got these resources, there's the Paying for Long-Term Care webinar, Blended Family Estate Planning webinar, and Special Needs Estate Planning webinar. So this is all background information in more detailed areas, more finite areas that may not be related to just basic estate planning, but that you might want information on. All right, now we also put in the Estate Crash Course. This is normally something that's sold separately, and it's just available to you. This is a version that's, we're just getting into 2024 as I'm recording this. This is a little bit older. We may be redoing this within the year, and if so, we'll go ahead and upload it here. But this is the version that's a few years old that runs through a lot more in-depth in the same areas as estate planning basics. And now we're getting to the actual initial estate planning process. So all of that section 3, that's just background information. What are you really required to look into? It's really just the estate planning basics book. But we want to make sure you've got all the tools and resources that you want to look as in-depth as possible. So the initial estate planning process has the estate planning process overview, and this is just kind of a repeat of what we put in that initial section. But now we've got the meetings that are broken out. The estate strategy session, this is probably something you've already gone through. So it's what to expect. Here's what the process is, the engagement agreement and payment if you were doing stuff online. So if you've already signed up, no need to go through that because you've already gone through your estate planning strategy session with an attorney. So for the next, it's the estate summary. So the next part in the process is the estate summary, and it's going into your specific choices from those big four questions put into an estate form. At this point, we've already put together the documents. They're all set, but now they need to be reviewed. But we go through the summary first because just sending the documents is very, very confusing. It's a lot of information. The estate summary puts everything into context, and it's just a good meeting to make sure that we're getting everything correctly so we can update the documents before we send them to you. So this just walks through the estate summary and expands on what some of these different sections in the estate summary are for and what they do. So next we have the document review meeting. So we've gone through and put together years ago, here's the different points in the documents, the main ones that people usually ask questions about. It's in that main trust terms that are explained, but the documents overview is just giving you this brief summary of what each document is and does. But then again, the main trust terms, that's where we usually have most of the questions. We do have this in a format, a digital format to run through that you can kind of cross-reference and look at. Here's exactly what these different sections are designed to do. This will probably answer about 80 to 85% of whatever questions you've got on the trust ahead of time. And of course, we're definitely happy to go through it individually in your document review meeting, but we're going to explain these in this section. Now, we also have the signing and what to expect. Really, this is not a huge deal. We've got the signing itself down to a science, but everything does have to be signed, typically witnessed by two people and notarized. And So here's exactly what you need to do and bring for the signing. And now trust funding. So trust funding is really, really important. The way I describe it to my clients is, look, we're trying to make sure that we're putting together the best suitcase possible because you're taking a trip. This is the estate planning trip. You want to make sure that everything is packed to avoid probate. So this is all about trust funding. So we have in the section the confidential financial analysis form and a walkthrough of that form to help you fill it out and kind of answer questions on what goes in what section and why we're looking for this particular type of information. And then there's a place you can actually upload that form in this initial process. Now there's the trust funding packet. This is what you get back after you sit down with the attorney and we run through everything and make sure that we have everything correct. You're going to receive a trust funding packet. This is an explanation for what the different forms are and what they do. And next we have a video of the ongoing asset management and exactly what has to happen because it's such a critical part of your estate plan. What is happening with your ongoing asset management? And now we also have an overview of different types of assets. So this is the basic trust funding strategy. This is something that's going to be duplicated in one of the other resources you have later on in this Client Resource Center. And then the last one after the trust funding, we have what is the family review meeting. So this is, I think more of my clients should take advantage of this, but probably at the current time, less than 50% of my clients want to take advantage of this meeting, and we really should. This is when we can bring in anyone you want. Very, very typically, it's the successor trustees, or at least the first two successor trustees that you've got listed, where we can run through what the different documents are, what they do, and let them ask questions so that they feel comfortable being in the role of the trustee and handling those financial things. And really, if all they really remember from this meeting is if anything happens, grab the blue binder, call the professionals involved in the digital family practice, and we get everything moving. And now that's out of the initial estate planning process, but here's the annual review meetings. So this is a year between meetings, so it's good to have this resource to review exactly what's going on in the annual review meetings and exactly what is expected and what we can do to make sure that we're maximizing your estate plan on an ongoing basis. And next, Section 6, this is the full trust funding course. Just like the estate crash course, this is something that's sold separately, but we put it into this course just for you, into the Client Resource Center. So this runs through, again, everything with the estate, with the funding of your trust and exactly what needs to happen to make sure that your trust does what it needs to do to avoid probate as much as possible, and including a section on wildcards, which we update from time to time as different assets come into play. So this is a good resource to have. Next, we do have coupons for other courses. We can't put everything into the Client Resource Center, but we do have the Plain English Attorney series that covers all of them. So with the cost of what you have in the Client Resource Center, we're giving you a coupon for that amount off if you want to, quote, upgrade and get all of these other courses as well. And Section 8 is just going to be copies of past webinars and live streams that are exclusive to people who sign up and subscribe to the Client Resource Center, as well as our initial trust planning clients. So you notice these first couple are listed. Those are available to the public, but then when we get to the Family Strategic Estate Plan, and then we're going to have even more that get uploaded over time, those are going to be in there for our clients. So that's just the basic overview and walkthrough of the Client Resource Center. So I hope you found that information useful and we can start to get to work. Or if you're an existing client, this is a good resource to have on an ongoing basis. So as I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.